things just are coming on lately. How about that? Here we are, ready to be completely present, ready to keep the main thing, travelers up the street called trust, headed to the ultimate destination that is the Tower of Power, that is the understanding of self. Here we are in affirmation once again together, y'all. Here we are, ready to climb into our super suits, taking action, making the proactive choice of planting our feet in front of us and saying that freedom is at our feet, that we can be free from the past and unafraid of the future because we are practiced at being present. Here we are, ready to flex our willpower muscle by being completely still as we engage in this beautiful habit together with our minds separate yet one. Let us set the container. Indeed, I have a lot swimming around in my mind right now. I'm going to try to stay focused. A while back, we discussed looking at situations where we felt betrayed and changing the script, changing the words. This is an observation that was made by spiritual guide Eckhart Tolle in a lesson where he says that we ought not be part of another person's narrative. And when we assume the role of, as an example, the betrayed, then we assume the position of a part in the play of that other person's ego. Yes. He suggests that we assume the understanding within ourselves that the person who was betrayed, meaning us, the person who was doing the betrayal, meaning the other person, was not at the same level of consciousness that we had previously known them to be. Let me say that over again to make sure I get this clear here. He suggests that we too often assume within ourselves that the person who has done the betraying was, I'm screwing it up again. My goodness gracious. See, too much swimming around. What he suggests that we do is that instead of feeling betrayed, we resist and we assume, we accept, and we assume. I'm having all sorts of fun here. We accept, see, this is me changing my own language in the moment. We accept that the person who has betrayed us was not at the same level of consciousness that we had previously known them to be. This removes us from the position of having to play a part in that person's actions. This is not an easy concept, apparently, because it took me 3 times to describe it. It is not an easy concept to accept into our reality, and it is also not easy until you experience it. I'm going to put the video of this lesson in our chat comments today because it has great relevance to today's concept as we transition into our next principle for how we can change difficult conversations from within. Indeed. I surface this again because at face value, see, my mind runs too fast, that's the problem. At face value, it feels like there is simple semantics going on there, right? Oh, I was betrayed, but instead of feeling betrayed, I'm going to just act like the person is not at the same level of consciousness, but really they betrayed me. See? That is not what's going on. We are not simply replacing the word betrayed with the phrase lower level of consciousness. What we are doing, in fact, is changing our paradigm. We are rewriting our program. We are creating one true reality instead of a divided one. Now, what you'll hear from Eckhart is that, hey, maybe that lower level of consciousness means that you're never going to associate with that person again, and that's okay. And that would come to pass. And you would not be participating in that person's reality. So, the principle today is to be able to learn to differentiate between evaluation and observation during conflict. Evaluation sounds like 2 syllables, rhymes with sludge. Yeah. That's it, folks. No one, and I mean no one, wants to be judged. And even fewer of us want to be judged while we are told that the judgment is not a judgment at all. It's just an observation. I'm just making an observation about your behavior because you are awful. And this is what we do far too often, isn't it? We make judgments, often snap, and we try to pass them off as our keen observations of the other person's reality based upon our incredible wit and intelligence and skill and experience. Yes? So to be specific, evaluations are seen, or not so specific, to be rather non-cheeky, evaluations are seen as judgments, almost always, and evaluations are far too often passed off as observations. The goal of our conversations, first and foremost, is to get to clarity on the issue that may be causing the conflict. Also, evaluations are very direct. Judgments are always direct. And they sometimes feel as good as cursing, don't they? You know, that feeling you get when you drop a good F-bomb? And at the end of the day, they are not as specific as we think that they are. They may elicit a response in a person that somehow gets our juices flowing. And does it actually get the job done? Does it get us to a place where we can get through a difficult conversation? Here's an example. You are irresponsible, and I can't trust you. Observation. You have come home late the last 3 nights in a row. Here's another. You're an asshole. Observation. You have interrupted me every time I've tried to speak. If you've not noticed already, each of these evaluations, judgments, is an attack on the other person's character. Like we must resist the urge to attack the other person's ideas, the other person's beliefs, if we mean to actually get to a place where we can acknowledge one another. We must also accept the urge that we cannot feed the urge to attack intent or character, especially when we cannot exactly be certain of what is afoot. There's also another really big step here, and I'm at my sort of like 6-minute mark. So this is part 2 for tomorrow. And in part 2, I'm gonna bring to you how our qualia connects to all of this. I'm gonna connect the sensations and the emotions and the images and the thoughts, these packets of emotion that feed into what we are dealing with when we feel like we need to make that evaluation of intent or behavior or character in the moment, when instead we ought best to make observations. For now, let us sit with this complexity, because inside of it is the simplicity that there might be a subtle difference between the words evaluation and judgment, between the words evaluations and observations, and yet in the mind of the other person, evaluation at the height of conflict will almost always feel like a judgment. And well, it's kind of because it is. So let us move forward with no judgment. And how do we get there from here? We get there by going within, into our best selves, with beginners' minds, with patience, with faith, and with devotion, and I'm still judging myself for messing up that example before, rather than impatience, rather than indifference, rather than mistrust. So for now, let's become who we were meant to be today. This meditation, it seeks to connect you to the universe that is you. It seeks to boldly go where no one has gone before, deeper and deeper into the epicenter of your circle. This meditation will help you see clearly through. A focused mind is a concentrated mind. A concentrated mind is a satisfied mind. So say we all. I know that I want to believe. So let us all together begin to breathe. Beautiful belly breaths, diaphragm. We're going to breathe deep. Hello, Sister Kira. We're going to breathe deep into that diaphragm like an accordion, filling it up, bringing the breath up into the chest and up into the head. As Wim Hof says, fully in, fully out. A light pause at the top, a free fall down. We're not going to expel the air here. We're not trying to hyperventilate. And these are full, beautiful belly breaths, which means that they may make you a little lightheaded or a little nauseous. And hey, that's okay. You will survive. And point of reference to note that you might not be breathing fully, frequently throughout the day. Yes? Eyes wide open. If you're seated, your feet are to the floor. Your palms are in your lap. If you're lying down, each limb is touching a surface. And if you're in the lotus position, I'll dare say you know what to do. So here we are, all together. Breathing deep. And relax, release. Relax and release for sure. Breathing deep. And release. 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 One final time, breathing deep. And on this breath, allow the air to float and fold into your physiology. Allow that breath to become part of all of the rest. Allow your eyes to close at your own pace. Let us focus our attention, turn our attention to the object form, the outer body, the membrane. Focusing down on all that we have, on what we have, on if we have. Feet, ankles, toes, fascia of the soles, calves, knees and joints, long hamstrings, weighty quads, thick glutes. What you will, as you have them, squeeze them down. Draw them in, creating tension, focused attention, holding tight, overriding tension, noticing that as you take hold of one compartment, you lose focus of another. Take it all together, and when you have it tightly wound, let go. Letting it fall away, feeling that release, finding the root, finding the line of the chakra, finding the spine, the sacral and solar plexus, the heart center. As you have them, if you have them, what you have, the rib cage, miles of digestive tract, the brain belly, all together, take hold that root. Draw in the abdomen. Squeeze down pectoral. Squeezing tight the torso. Holding it all in. Creating tension. Focused attention. And when you have it all together, let go. Let go and find the shoulders and upper back. Find the neck as you have them, if you have them, what you have, bicep and tricep, forearms, wrists, palms, digits, all together. Squeeze down the stress center, drawing in each compartment, tightly wound, focused attention, overriding tension by creating tension. And when you have it all together, release and let go. Supersuit on, let us don the helmet up into the head. As you have them, if you have them, what you have, eyes and sockets, ears and lobes, teeth, tongue, gums, skin of the cheeks, the throat, sinus and follicles of hair, and the crown. Squeeze down, drawing in, creating tension, overriding tension, focused attention. And when you have it, let go. Letting go of the outer body, releasing the object form, letting go and feeling the vibration of the tone, the reverberation of voice, letting go of each distraction, of each thought bubble as you acknowledge without attachment. Letting go to the center of your circle as the sunshine beams from your pocket. Letting go as the expanse of your self-awareness fills this moment of self-control. Letting go as consciousness rises and the crystal clear you fills the sphere of your influence. And in this now, you use your will to choose imagination, to be the artist of you, the creator of an image. Each artist uses an instrument, be it pen, brush, chisel, guitar, drum, voice. Choose the instrument for now. And with long, smooth strokes and strums, create the image of a telescope. Let the colors come. Let the tones tell you. This looking glass for you to see your way through. As you flow, connect to the connection that is flowing inside of you. to the electric surging free, to the cosmic you, to the universe that is you. You create this image. You set this scene. As you flow, allow the scene to float in the expanse all around you. And let go that instrument. Let go of will, let go imagination. And in this now be. Been here before, be for the first time. In the complexity is simplicity. Your mind's eye, reach for your scene. Holding it up to the sunshine that is beaming from your pocket, smooth it into a ball that will exist as a universe inside of you. Holding the ball out in front of you now. One more time, peer into the scene and see your telescope for looking through, for seeing through. And as you do, release the ball, allowing it to drop and splash into the center of your circle. And as it splashes down, as the ripple pushes forth, let go. Let go of all you do not know. Let go of all that you may not understand. Let go of all that you cannot control, because that is okay. And as you feel those ripples pushing forth, as you feel the pulsing, as you feel the growing, feel your circle expanding from your acceptance. And in affirmation now say, I will use my self-awareness to focus on what I can control. I will use my will to focus on what I can control. I will use my imagination to focus on what I can control. I will use consciousness to focus on what I can control. I am the programmer, and this is my program. This is the space that exists in between the stimulus and the response, where I have the freedom to choose my responses. I want to believe, so say we all. And now, call your attention back to a light breath, to a breath light, and allow the world back on to the body, back on to the head, the neck and shoulders. Calling your attention to a light breath, to a breath light. Allow the world back into your heart center. Calling your attention to a light breath, to a breath light. Take hold of your root and call your attention to all that you have, upper and lower limbs, brain, belly, as you have it, if you have it, what you have. And at your own pace, begin to open your eyes, begin to focus on the you of now, the you of today, the sharpened you, the focused you, the you that is not the drop in the ocean, the you that is the ocean in the drop, and the we, my good humans, the we that is the tide. Welcome back. If you have that cold water, do drink it down. Good morning, Miss Rolls, if you're still there. Good to see you. Good morning, Mom. I love you. And what to do. Oh my goodness. The song today is Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. I thought it was aptly chosen. And it's as done by Miss Nina Simone because she's one of my most favorites. So pretty much every time I go back to an oldie, I'm like looking for Nina or Etta. Yes, indeed. So this is where we observe ourselves without evaluating our being, because that is the highest form of intelligence. As Krishnamurti shares with us, I add to that consciousness, because this is what we are sharing, my good humans. This is also where the decentralized revolution is occurring. This is also where we are focused on not just being, on not just working on ourselves and working and thinking about how we can be accepting of ourselves, how we can be non-judgmental of ourselves, how we could begin with a beginner's mind with all that we learn. Also, how are we taking that into all that we do? How can we use what we are doing here to be more mindful in our conversations and our relationships? We're trying to bridge that gap, my good humans. We're trying to be more mindful with our communication so that we have less conflict, so that we can see our way through. And that's why it is helpful if you can write down some of the things that you are seeing in that looking glass. As you draw out that telescope and you look on through, what do you see? How will you use that image later on today when the world is bearing down upon you, when people are dragging you into their narratives, when you are dragging yourself into the deep water and allowing your ego to do its work on you? How will you use that image to stay tethered to the now, to stay focused on what you know to be true, that if you stand in the center of your circle, that you can make the space, to choose your responses and to not be reactive. This is what we are doing here. This is the decentralized revolution. Share it loud and share it proud. Imagine if we were all doing this, my good humans. Imagine if we were all doing something like this, because I'm not trying to purport that what I'm doing here is the only way. Oh, no. This is a way. And we do this together. That's all for me. See you back here tomorrow where we will do part two. I don't know. My mouth and my brain aren't working right. Where we will do part two and go deeper into ensuring that we don't trigger people by judging them in the moment of heightened conflict. Peace and love. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Stay safe. Stay